Hey guys, Wyatt Claypool here. Ironically enough, today I am going to be arguing that Canada Post should be privatized using CBC as my source today. I don't know why we need this to be a public crown corporation. It loses money every year, and there are constant strikes from unions that the government doesn't really want to solve because they think by pleasing the unions, they're buying votes. And I think that is too tempting for the government, or at least the problem is too difficult for the government to manage. So it should just be outsourced to a private firm. Mail delivery, I keep hearing, doesn't have a lot of money in it, especially letters, but Amazon made packages work. I don't think that a company like Amazon or another company would have a difficult time monetizing the delivery of letters. But right now, we are heading into another Canada Post worker strike. Why? Because the Liberals refuse to solve the problem. Back in December, when Canada Post workers were striking and not delivering any packages or letters in the month of December, we had the Liberals wanting to engage in negotiations and can we wait for a couple months, guys? And it was just putting off the problem because the problem right now is that the Liberals rely on public sector workers voting for them, which means that taxpayers are the only ones being bargained against in all these situations. Taxpayers have to pay for all of the bad government deals that they make with the unions at Canada Post. And so we will just continue to suffer if the Liberals are in power. So if the Conservatives get in, goodness me, they have to make sure to privatize Canada Post. Now, I'm going to be citing a CBC article that even shows a chart for how much they've been losing. It's insane. Look at this. How bad is it? About as bad as it gets. The last time it made profit was 2017. Since then, it has lost $3 billion. The annual loss in 2023 was $748 million, even worse than 2022 when it lost $548 million, according to the latest annual report. And I doubt it's gotten any better since 2023. Obviously, 2020 it lost more money since more people are potentially, moving pack or like delivering packages, and so because it does its function is done at a loss. The more people mail stuff, the more losses that we incur. Just put it out of its misery at this point and just get rid of it. This is a signal failure of the Trudeau Liberals and now the Carney Liberals. They have only bloated the crown corporations more as they lose money. When I see Mark Carney saying that, you know what, I think I can find $28 billion of savings within government in order to pay for my increased spending, I don't believe him. Because if he was serious about it, I would hear the words CBC and Canada Post come off his lips and immediately be followed by the word privatization, because these things only lose us money. We make no money off the CBC. We don't make money off the Canada Post. And there are many more agencies, bigger and smaller, who also don't actually serve a purpose other than employing people to do a job at too high a cost for taxpayers. We could have Amazon do this. We could have anyone do this. Purelator could do this. We could have UPS do this. They would probably expand their operations to do it. I always hear that there's not a business case for something, and then the government entity goes bankrupt, and somehow the private sector picks it up and makes it profitable. Because it turns out the people in government are just bad at running things. Just because they can't run it for a profit doesn't mean it's not profitable. It just means that they suck at their jobs. And so what I am seeing here is a great opportunity for conservatives to put pressure on the Liberals to get rid of Canada Post. Because if Carney's serious, he will do it. And if he's not serious, he's going to indict himself by showing that he will refuse to get rid of this dead weight because he likes the dead weight. That is the problem with Mark Carney. He got into office because of dead weight. If you took away the increased amount of votes the Liberals got from more federal employees existing in 2025 than they did in 2015, they would have lost the election. There's like another 500,000 people who work for the federal government, whether directly or indirectly, who will always vote for the government or for the party, who will make sure to maintain what are a lot of the times fake jobs or give them more money. That is what Canada Post workers are doing right now. They see the Liberals and they see the people that the Liberals have put in charge of Canada Post as easy marks, and these people will buckle, give you a 5% wage increase your benefits. This is all over the fact that Canada Post was trying to be a little bit more fiscally responsible and was going to hire weekend employees to deliver mail on the weekends. Canada Post doesn't want part-time employees doing it. They want it to be an only overtime role so that people who work there can then get like double wages for working Saturdays and Sundays. This is also the problem with our healthcare system across Canada in the different provinces. So many people, because it's understaffed, because so many people who are nurses just work in HR positions or administrative positions, the people who still do work in nursing, who are doctors, in a clever way, they can just refuse to show up to work if they're not exactly scheduled in. So we have nurses and doctors, mostly nurses, who only work part time. And they'll only come in if you offer double time or triple time. I've heard this goes on, which means that our healthcare systems are extremely bloated with personnel salaries because people don't actually work regular hours and they're only ever paid in double time wages. It's ridiculous. And now we have Canada Post workers probably wanting to bloat the budget by another couple or $100 million a year. And you got to ask yourselves, how many of these do we have that exist? We're running a $62 billion deficit, and at least nearly $1 billion of it is coming from Canada Post. We have another billion of it coming from the CBC. If we find another dozen or two of these and then we just cut wasteful spending in other areas, we could have surpluses from here until the end of time. Going back to the CBC article here, I like this. Fewer letters. This is what's being blamed on them not making as much money. Canada Post hit peak letter delivery nearly 20 years ago. In 2006, it delivered 5.5 billion letters. In 2023, it only delivered 2.2 billion letters, and that includes a lot of bills and other official correspondence. A lot of people in this country have grown up never knowing the practice of writing a letter to someone and putting it in the mail. Yeah, and so why? Why do we have this? It sounds like an established corporation could easily handle 2.2 billion letters. We don't need this bloated crown corporation doing 5.5 billion. And it's probably good that there's not as much mail going through right now, because if you increase the amount of mail, they would probably lose more money on the delivery of it. But yeah, it's showing all how the delivery or the amount has been going down over time. But again, the amount of money it takes to do it has also been going up. And when that's happening over time, when in fact things should be becoming more efficient, it tells you that it's basically just become a slush fund for unions. It is just a way of being able to give very, very well-paid, cushy union jobs. And I know there are people in my audience who like unions. At the same time, guys, why do you think the Detroit auto industry went under? Why do you think there are so many businesses and industries that are complete basket cases in Canada? Because you must go through unions to get any of your labor, unless it's just going to be you running the business. And so you end up having massive amounts of your money go into wages, unrealistically high wages, and then your business never grows. We are in such a stagnant economy because of stuff like this. And again, Carney's not going to handle it because he's never actually vocalized a problem with places like the CBC and Canada Post. The two easiest crown corporations to criticize won't say anything about them. He will say, well, I think we can find double spending. Maybe there are duplicate programs we can get rid of. Maybe there are duplicate programs. I really don't think that that's really going to be much of a problem. I don't think there's that many like billion-dollar savings to be had in like two programs that are effectively the same. We could eliminate one. That's not really going to be a positive, like a solid avenue for cutting stuff. It needs to be like stuff like Canada Post, needs to be privatized. And by the way, once it's privatized, it will be profitable, and then it will be putting money back into the tax pool. What a concept. But anyways, that should be it for this little rant today, guys. I'm in Montana right now, so I'm on a bit of an alternative set. The lighting's not very good. You can see this whole side getting washed out as the sun comes up a little bit. But hopefully you don't mind this. I'll be here for a few days. Then I'm coming back to Calgary. Then I'm going to Victoria. Life's busy these days, but hopefully you didn't mind this video, and I'll see you guys next time.